Here are some signs that your mother-in-law is in fact a narcissist. She's two-faced, and she's also taught her son to be very two-faced. This is what we call triangulation. If you notice your mother-in-law will play you against her own son, your man, she will sit up and listen to you complain about her son and agree with you, tell you that her son ain't shit. Then she'll run and go tell her son everything that you said. She wants to be the gatekeeper and build an alliance with her son while making you look like the bad guy. Also, too, she will team up with all his toxic ex-girlfriends, including his toxic baby mothers, because birds of a feather flock together, and she has more in common with the toxic women of his past than she does with the good woman that's trying to make him a better man. His mama is in secret competition with you. She's threatened by your beauty, your accolades, your success, your salary, all of that. She gossips about you behind your back to other family, and she's cool with his side chicks, by the way.
As we near the Mother's Day 2025 approaching, for many of us, Mother's Day brings different emotions, feelings. It could be grief, could be joy, it can be a mix of grief, joy, whatever. You might have mother wounds. Maybe you're a man with mother wound, a woman with mother wound, crappy childhood with neglectful mother or abusive, terrible mother, absent mother, pick me mother. They chose their boyfriend over you. You are essayed, but you are never acknowledged. Or your mother has gone to be with the Lord. So that also brings a lot of feelings, grief, different stages of it. It just comes flooding. Or you get jealous and angry around that time because you see other people fake posting. Fake posting. Okay. Behind closed doors, it's not the same as what a lot of people be posting. So that also, you gotta pull that apart. But I want to center this talk on, let's talk about the terrible mother-in-laws. So if you ever experience a mother-in-law from hell, okay, the fact is there's a lot of moms who make their identity only about their children. There are dads too who do that. They center their day-to-day lives and then they bank on their retirement on their children. They have no true life, no purpose. They might be going to work or doing whatever. Maybe they're running their businesses, doing their thing, but they lack joy, centered happiness, peacefulness within themselves. They lack drive and a purpose. It's almost like they are living their lives through somebody else, or they are living their life to satisfy that mother of them. So these are the same mothers who become terrible mother-in-laws in their future lives because they have never cultivated life outside of their children. Maybe they might be going to parties, doing the things, just showing up at the funeral, the outdoorings, the birthday parties. But within themselves, they are like terrible, like constant unfinished business. And anybody coming into the lives of their children, it almost feels like they have to fight them. Always not directly, but very passive aggressively. Like, I sacrifice my whole being to get this person here. Maybe they're now a big businessman or a woman, or they're now a big doctor, a lawyer, or a lawmaker, or whatever in the community. And they feel like that child or that grown-ass person owns them something. So having somebody come into that person's life as a wife or as a husband, vice versa, it's almost like that person is stealing their position. So then they have this tactics, ways in which, and many of these terrible mother-in-laws collapse a lot of good marriages and relationships because of that toxic attachment style that they've never worked through, and the fact that they never gave themselves the liberty to be able to have an identity and a purpose beyond their children, and knowing that you can raise your children but have zero expectation of the outcome when they grow up, knowing that you have agency over your own life and you can set it up that when you grow up, they can assist you here and there, but you don't have that direct hold on that child. So on that note, let's talk about crappy mother-in-laws, and what are some of your experiences? Have you had those experiences, and how are you navigating? Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, bye.
Let's look at 5 things that you may observe when dealing with a narcissistic mother-in-law. 1. She will discredit you to your partner. 2. She's attention seeking. Always have to be the center of attention for everything. She lacks accountability and always sees herself being right in everything. 4. She is a gold digger. And 5, but not least, she finds fault with every woman her sons date. None is good enough.
There are a lot of people who are grown in age but not grown in wisdom. Let's talk about it. Have you ever experienced those aunties, the big aunties, but all they do is project their own insecurities, their fears, their anxieties, their lack of drive as you are, especially as women, as we ease into Mother's Day? Just think on that. They will gaslight you or make you feel bad about your own decisions. Once again, just think on that. Okay, bye.
Here's 10 signs that you have a toxic or narcissistic mother-in-law. Number 1, she tries to control your husband. Number 2, she denies doing or saying things that she did or said. Number 3, she acts really hurt or angry if you or your husband say no or set a boundary or don't meet her expectations. Number 4, she makes underhanded or indirect negative comments about you. Number 5, she tries to compete with you to appear above you or better than you. Number 6, she corrects or criticizes you or your parenting or your homemaking or your choices. Number 7, she puts expectations on your husband that make it hard for him to care for you and your kids. Number 8, she tries to control your marriage and life choices, whether it's finances, where you're going to live, and what you do with the kids. Number 9, she treats your husband or you like a child. And number 10, she tries to make your husband feel responsible for her happiness. If you feel like you have a toxic mother-in-law, my Toxic In-Laws course will show you how to get on the same page with your husband, set effective boundaries that will protect you and your family. Tap the link in my bio if you're interested.
Get your attention because I had my own mom and I recognized that shit day one, and I think she hated that about me.
She did. You can't be controlled. If you can't be controlled, used, or manipulated, they're going to get you out the picture. And that's where the exes and the toxic side chicks, they'll pull them in and set it up where he can sleep. The mama will have the side chicks in her house. Her son can sleep with the side chicks in her house. And that's to get rid of you.
3 signs your mother-in-law is a narcissist. Hi, I'm Candice and I'm a trauma and mindset coach, and I help you have a healthy relationship with yourself and with others. So number 1 is that she needs attention all the time. Everything kind of comes back to her. So this might look like trying to outdo you, maybe putting you down, or trying to take over the planning of events that you might be having. Basically everything kind of has to involve her and come around to her. Number 2 is that she lacks empathy with towards her behavior and the things that she might say. So she might say things, really hurtful things towards you and to somebody else, and she will refuse to accept that that could be seen as hurtful. And if you're trying to discuss certain things with her, she might really talk about her feelings and how she's been impacted, but when it comes to you, she'll completely dismiss you. And number 3 is that she has an overinflated opinion of herself, and she might boast about her own achievements and accomplishments and make statements that suggest that she thinks she's better than everyone else. 3 signs your mother-in-law is a narcissist. Hi, I'm Candice and I'm a trauma and mindset coach, and I help you have a healthy relationship with yourself and with others. So number 1 is that they feel superior to others. So this might show in them thinking that nobody is good enough for their child because they see them and their children as an extension of them, and everyone else is not good enough and they are superior to everyone else. Number 2 is that they might become really hostile if they don't get what they want. They always feel that they are right, and if they don't get what they want, they will see this as a personal attack against them, and they may seek like revenge, or they might give you the silent treatment, or they might say some really hurtful things towards you. Number 3 is that they will not respect your boundaries. They will not understand why you do not want them a part of everything, and or their opinion, and they will struggle to accept that their child now has a new priority in their life and that they are no longer their priority.
Hey, I just wanted to talk today about what I think is probably the biggest identifier for realizing your mother-in-law might be narcissistic versus just toxic. So I think one of the biggest signs of narcissistic behavior is a mother-in-law who cannot admit her fault in anything, and one who is extremely defensive if you ever bring up any information that may criticize her. So she will always try to prove she's right, no matter the situation. And for instance, if your spouse tries to side with you and say, hey, what you did was wrong, she will then go against you even harder. And a lot of the times, in order to excuse this behavior, the mother-in-law will list all of these things that she has done for the well-being of her child or anything like that, even if they don't pertain to the issue at hand. So at the end of the day, she is so defensive of her role as a mother, she will not admit any fault in any of these situations. And if you pick out fault for her, she will come after you with a vengeance.
You know, it should have been a red flag or something to me that should have showed that something I didn't feel right and something wasn't right about my in-laws. Well, they're not my in-laws. I don't claim those people because their mask came all the way off. Just how trifling and gets it, yeah. Just how, they just were so fake and phony. I never called my ex-mother-in-law. I never called her mom, nothing. I did not feel comfortable. There was something within me that would not allow me to call that woman mother-in-law, mom, no. It just was something that was screaming in me, don't do it. But you know what? There was, when I first started getting to know the family, she rubbed me the wrong way by, talking about me. This lady barely knew me. I guess, saying I was controlling. Well, it takes one to know one. Not only was her daughter controlling, but she was deceitful. So, in the end, when these people's masks come down, the reason why you were feeling, or I even at that point was feeling the way that I was feeling, because it was fake. All of it was fake. The entire family was fake. They were phony. And, I knew that the person that I was married to with for 12 years, their mother enabled, abusive, disrespectful, deceitful behavior. This woman knew a lot of things about her children. And of course wasn't going to say anything. The last conversation that I had with her, she told me some story about some lie that the person I was with had told. And, I didn't know anything about it. That's the first that I had heard anything of this lie. And then proceeds to say, oh, I thought they had changed. I didn't raise my children like this. I didn't raise my daughter like this. And I'm like, rolling my eyes like, woman, please, this is why your daughter is like this. You enable toxic, abusive, deceitful, pathological, lying behavior. And, the controlling and, all of this stuff that we deal with these people, it is from, their family. It is from, this is learned behavior. And I always used to hear, the enabling mother say, oh, something about her sister's kids. But I'm like, your kids are the same. They lie, they do all kinds of nonsense, and you sit there and pacify it. So if you get an inkling, with your in-laws and, something's not right. And I knew something was not right. Even though I tried to be respectful, I tried to, just, I guess blend in, but nah, this lady I had never felt comfortable with. Matter of fact, I didn't feel comfortable with anybody from that family. I tried my best, but when people are full of shit. I remember this former friend that I do not speak to anymore telling me, "Oh, well, they don't like you. They don't." And I'm thinking to myself, "Well, how the hell do you know?" Of course, because I was a subject of conversation. And at that point, I didn't give a shit who liked me and who didn't. Those people weren't, putting food on my table and paying my damn bills. I did it, so, and matter of fact, I had to deal with their abusive, family members, so, which I do not have to now, thank God, but I damn sure are going to speak on it. But yeah, if you get a feeling about your in-laws, your mother-in-law, it's a correct feeling. I knew this lady was so fake and phony, and not only did she talk about me, I know she talked about me, she talked about the other sister-in-laws, always, and then smiling and grinning in their face. When you see things for what they are, believe them.
One of the quickest ways to spot a narcissistic mother is the weaponization of guilt. This isn't the occasional guilt trip that someone might associate with cultural norms, a Jewish, Italian, or Catholic mother, reminding you to call more often, for example. With a narcissistic mother, the guilt is relentless. It's a calculated tool used to manipulate and control. This is the mother who makes sure that you know that you haven't called enough, visited enough, helped enough, or been grateful enough. You'll hear her say things like, "I've done so much for you. Is it so much to ask for you to make some time for me?" Or, "After everything I've sacrificed, you'd think I'd get a little more appreciation." And guilt isn't just reserved for the adult children. Narcissistic mothers are more than willing to use these tactics on young kids too. She's the mother who tells her children that they're too much, too needy, or too sensitive. You'll hear her say things like, "You're stressing me out," or "Why can't you just be easier?" or "Ugh, you're exhausting me." This tactic is designed to train you to believe that you are responsible for whatever hardship she feels, which means that over time you internalize that anytime she's unhappy, it's your fault. Children of narcissistic mothers unfortunately come to believe that their needs are burdens, creating a lifelong pattern of guilt and self-blame. For dealing with a narcissistic mother who's weaponizing guilt, use the guilt shield tool. When she says something like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me," respond with calm firmness. "I'm not responsible for how you choose to feel." This response sets a clear boundary, rejecting the guilt without engaging in an argument. It communicates that you won't take ownership of her emotions, making her manipulation ineffective. By staying steady, you hold your ground and keep the power in your hands. Have you ever felt like you were one day a trophy and then the next day a giant embarrassment? Our final clue is this: narcissistic mothers see their children as objects or extensions of themselves. They don't value their children as independent people, but rather for how well they enhance the mother's image or meet her needs. To a narcissistic mother, your worth is transactional. It's about what you can do for her. You'll notice this in conversations where she seems to compliment you, but the praise is really a self-indulgent flattery. She might say, "Oh, that outfit looks so great," but only if it's exactly what she told you to wear. Or she might say, "I can't wait for Jane to meet your boyfriend," not because she's happy for you, but because she's happy for herself. She wants to show off your boyfriend to gain Jane's admiration. It's all about fueling her narcissistic supply. More attention, more admiration, and more of you to be used for her own gain. In my own experience, when I played piano at church, my mom was thrilled and beaming with pride, but not because she was proud of me, but because in her mind, my success was hers alone. But when it comes to what she deemed unworthy, the tone would shift. If I made a mistake or showed vulnerability, it was a different story. The subtle scripts might sound like, "I raised you better than that," or "Why are you crying? Knock it off." I wasn't allowed to have a self. What she believed was good about me, my good grades, being thin, being pretty, having friends, or my musical talent, was hers to own, something she could claim as her own achievement. And what she deemed unworthy, like my skin breakouts or stage fright, or when I blushed when people talked to me, that was treated as something I should hide because it reflected poorly on her. For handling a narcissistic mother who sees your faults and successes as reflections of herself, use the "it's about me" tool. When she ties your actions to her identity, whether positively or negatively, respond with a single clear statement. This isn't about you, it's about me. This script works whether she's claiming your success as her own or framing your mistakes as her embarrassment. It's simple, direct, and shuts down the manipulation instantly by reminding her and yourself that your life is yours, not hers to co-opt.